we are sitting right in the midst of Hazratganj on this beautiful terrace. This house was made by an Italian architect, and in Hazratganj there were just about 4 or 5 mansions that existed at this point of time. If you see this house, you will realize that it has the best combination of local techniques, materials and British expertise.
In the reign of Mohammad Ali Shah, Nawab, my great grandfather in the mid-19th century, 1840-50, Mohammad Ali Shah was ruling. That's the statue you see outside here. That is the gentleman. He came, you see, he was the younger son of what was known then as the Mansabdars of Damka. Zamindari, Mansabdari, ye hota tha na? So he was the younger son, and naturally he had to seek his fortune because it was primogeniture. The elder son got the entire title and everything. So he came on horseback from Damka, trading with the nawabs in silks and pearls.
So he must have been welcomed with open arms.
Now the nawabs were used to a lavish lifestyle. They loved having all these kind of fancy things. So he was given a royal welcome, and he just fell in love with the culture and the place. So, but he was the first Parsi ever to come.
Oh wow!
No Parsi had come here before. This is catalogue. Then he said, now that I have come, I am going to settle, and he laid roots, and he got all this estate here on in Hazratganj, and some on Station Road, and 3-4 bungalows in the cantonment. He built a lot. He and his son in turn built a lot, you know. So yeah, through the late 19th century, everything was established, and then after the trade in silks and pearls stopped, naturally China to बार बार कोई जाके आ नहीं सकता था. So he had this carriage workshop, which was downstairs. And all the nawabs would come and buy like a very fancy carriages, Cabriolets, Landos, Victorias, all that kind of thing. Motor cars were not that common then.
Also, if you look at the house again, this has typical characteristics like the colonial houses. You know, you've got these narrow staircases, you've got rooms with open into the other rooms, you've got these dhanni type of roofs, the typical modular brick with lime and surkhi mortars. You'll see these arcades which would have been in the form of verandas. You see the ventilators that were typically there on the high roofs and ceilings, which were to facilitate the convective cooling. And you see these round meshes type structures that come out, and they would actually facilitate the movement of the pivoted fan lights on top of these ventilators. The brackets that you see on the top are actually made of stone, and they are held by another set of brackets which are molded in that stone type. Later, of course, they were painted and made to look like the house. Then you see some type of pedimented structures coming up before the parapet wall culminates, and here the patterns that you see are not so ornate or not so I would say minute, but they still have a representation of the stucco work that you see in the Awadhi architecture or the Indo-Saracenic colonial architecture that you see in the rest of the city. The colors also used are remarkable of the colonial type architecture that exists in a city, and this is like a haven, you know, it's like a safe place in midst of all this commotion that happens in the core of Lucknow. Another interesting part of this house is that it was made to sustain earthquakes. What was done was that you have a regular roof which is made of these dhannis. There are these wooden dhannis which form the braces or the girders which hold the house, and then they were supported by these secondary metal girders which were put transversely, and there is a hinge or a spring between those girders. So every time there was some type of a shaking happening, the hinging movement would have some type of a vibration, but because of that, that roof does not collapse, it does not buckle.
There's an attachment for this house. It carries so many memories, memories of my parents, what little memory I have of my grandparents, the history that is attached to my family along with this, stories of the nawabs, such funny stories, and the nawabs were so firki. एक नन्हे नवाब थे नरई के. अब नन्हे नवाब कहने को नन्हे थे लेकिन बहुत भारी भरकम इंसान थे. अब वो आए कैरेज खरीदने, तो सबसे छोटी कैरेज जो कैब्रियोले थी वो उनको पसंद आई. अब सब उनको कौन कहे कि साहब आप इसमें अट ही नहीं पाएंगे. तो सब ने कहा कि हजूर ये आपके स्टेटस की नहीं है, या आप ये वाली देख लीजिए. अब नहीं, हमको तो यही चाहिए. तो उनके तो 2-4 हमेशा चमचे साथ में चलते ही थे. उन्होंने पीछे से इनको धक्का मारा और ये कैब्रियो में घुस गए. अब घुस तो गए, वो बाहर नहीं निकल पाए. I have written this in my book. My mother used to tell us these stories. अब वो no way that they could get him out. पूरी कैरेज का दरवाजा तोड़ना पड़ा.
Oh God.
और पूरा उसका इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर, वो लकड़ी का जो साइड पैनल था उसको खोलना पड़ा. तब नन्हे नवाब बाहर निकले.
And this is actually so true of the nawabs of Lucknow. They were so
Sunky,
temperamental.
totally.
I think also what you see in this house is a collection of all the type of antique stuff that was found then. Because they had close liaisons with the Nawabs and the British, and everybody was entertaining here. This house would show a mingling of the British and the Nawabi cultures. You know, it's neither totally Avadhi nor totally British. It just stands somewhere in between, which is so unique about this place. All in all, it stands as a manifesto of, or I would say an image of a city which has always been in transition, which has always kept on moving and always absorbing the influences it has got.
And that is why when anyone says कि ये घर को ऐसे कर दीजिए वैसे कर दीजिए, मैं कहती हूँ मैं क्यों करूँ, मतलब अपनी ज़िंदगी में तो मुझे नहीं करना. You know, to break it down or make something new.
Property sharks बहुत होंगे मैम आपके पास, एकदम प्राइम प्रॉपर्टी है.
2500 लोग आते हैं. अरे मैम आपको मालूम नहीं है और हम यहाँ पे ये बना देंगे और हम ऐसे कर देंगे, हम वैसे कर देंगे. I tell the children, I said maybe later if you want to do something it's your prerogative, but at least while I am there I would not like to. There's an attachment for this house.